While Dollar Tree offers a ton of Christmas ornaments to DIY with, I thought, let's get a little bit extra and create some of our own using some Dollar Tree items, starting with this tiny little box. I know, Brandy, it's not very Christmassy, so we're going to bring in our paintbrush. I applied 2 coats of chalk paint onto this little box and let it dry. And if you want to take a bright color of an acrylic paint, still do this step first and then apply your acrylic color over top of this. It just gives you a nice little base. Next, we're going to take some Dollar Tree metal lace, and I'm using this one because I really just want to use the end. So I'm cutting off the part that's not that straight part. And we're going to just use the straight section. And you want to wear gloves for this. I will not be responsible if you start poking yourself with the metal lace. Okay, you've been warned. I cut that down into 2 different sections so I could just wrap 2 different sides of our little, is this a hexagon or an octagon? Let me go check this out before you guys get me. Google says it's a hexagon. Now, we're going to take some Gorilla Glue gel and some hot glue to hold our metal into place in the center here. And then I'm just taking some greenery and putting some berries in the front. If you want to put whatever you want to put in here to add to your little present ornament, you go right ahead. I also used some twine on the back for our hanger. Look how cute it is. For those of you that struggle to get a hold of that metal lace at Dollar Tree because it's not always there, and you don't have a Hobby Lobby local to you because they sell it also, I wanted to give you a different idea if you pick up some of these amazing little boxes from Dollar Tree. You can just take some regular ribbon. You can use all the same color or 2 different colors like I'm using here, and tie around just like we did the first one, meeting in the center, gluing it all down, and I put a little gift bow right on the front and use another piece of ribbon as the hanger. I do a lot of in-store browsing, and whenever I come across some wood slices at Dollar Tree, I gotta pick them up because you can use them for a ton of things, including making some really creative and unique ornaments. You can get as wild as you want or as simple as you want, and I'm gonna start off real simple using these little pieces I picked up from Walmart. And we're just going to glue them on the center of these little rounds. And what I love about doing this the most is you could literally do this for all the little ornaments in the pack that you pick up at Walmart and have a really cute little set to give as a gift or to just decorate around your house. I wanted to add a little bit of something to the hangers on these, keeping them really rustic and really neutral. So I just grabbed some beads and started putting them on the twine, and that's it for these 2. And if you're anything like me and you struggle to find things online sometimes and you need other options, Dollar Tree also has little stickers that you can grab, and you could use them as well instead of the little Walmart pieces. And don't forget Hobby Lobby because they also carry small little pieces like this as well. I hope you guys love this simple, easy DIY as much as I did. Now, you didn't just click on this video to watch me glue things onto things, right? Because we're going to decoupage this next set. I gave the center of these rounds a white base coat, let it dry, and look how cute this napkin is, people. Oh, they're so adorable. I can't even handle it. I'm using Deco Art Decoupage in the matte finish, and in a perfect world I would have had 3 of these slices and I would have did all 3 of the gnomes, but I had to make decisions, so we had to cut one out. They didn't make the roster. I'm sorry. All I'm doing here is just ripping out around the gnomes that I'm choosing to cut, and then I am taking all the little sneaky layers so we just have the top decorative ply layer to put onto our round. If you struggle getting them extra layers off, you can use tape to pull them off. You can rub some Mod Podge in between 2 of your fingers. Whatever makes you fuzzy inside. Just make sure that you only have that top layer. Now, less is always more for me whenever I'm doing napkins, and I just put a little bit of Mod Podge on and tappity tap 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 with my finger to apply tiny little pieces like this. And then I go over it with more Mod Podge to make sure it's on there. In certain cases, you might want to even put the Mod Podge on top of the chalk paint before applying your napkin. It really just depends on the project and how you want to DIY this. I'm taking a little transfer that I have from Dollar Tree, adding to the sign there, because don't this guy just look like he's saying I love you? And here, hold my little string of lights. Super cute. I can't even handle it. I wanted to blend these in a little bit more to make it look unified. So I'm just taking some more of that white chalk paint and then dragging from the very ends of our round into the napkin so it looks like they are meant to be there. For these two little puzzle pieces, we are going to be cutting, and I'm just going to actually cut right across the top for this part, and then we are going to use some water to cut this up perfectly to match exactly where we want on our puzzle pieces. You guys are going to have to bear with me here because we're going to be piecing apart these ornaments, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't really have a map I'm going by here. I'm just kind of winging this with some ideas that I thought were going to be really All right, let's work on the next one. I have some pieces here that are not going to fit, and I really want to not have a whole bunch of excess left. So I'm going to cover these two bottom sections up with a I put the tiny bits down first, so as we put this over top of it, it's going to kind of cover and we won't see a weird break, you know what I mean, versus putting it over top. These have to dry. You can see they're still wet in order for me to add the finishing pieces. So by all means, if you want to go over these and put a layer of Mod Podge or a layer of liquid patina or whatever medium you're using over them, you go right ahead. You have little extra pieces like this that aren't completely blended in. We're going to do that so everything looks like one little piece and an ornament that you purchased from the store. Another little tip, when you're going around and you're sanding, if you do have some frayed ends, and this is why I said seal it down. If you do have some frayed ends, take your medium, wet that sucker up, and then you can just move it around and you'll never know. Okay, so that's just another, I wanted to give you that little tip. Don't be afraid to get your finger in there. The majority of your project should already be melted down, and when you're sanding everything off, there might be some little sections you notice that come off around the edges, and that's completely fine, completely fine. So just take your medium, this is why it's a good thing to go over it, and put a seal over it. The easiest way to fix pieces like this when you have something decoupaged and there's huge sections without any pattern is to take one solid color. This could be red. We could do this with whatever, and I'm gonna do it around the edges too. But you just take one solid color, and then you make sure wherever that end is, you do really overload in that section. Really overload it and bring it onto your decoupage paper in that area. It's going to just blend the piece in, and no one's gonna know except for you that that section had a piece missing. It's gonna just look like it was meant to be like that. For those of you that struggle to get a hold of that metal lace, you're really gonna hate me on this one. I'm so sorry. You're gonna need something round. In my case, I'm using this Dixie Belle paint, and I am wrapping around the ribbon one go, and then I'm gonna cut it right where they meet. You'll need some zip ties for this. In my case, I'm using some little electrical ties because that's kind of what I have just laying around. You know, sometimes you gotta wing things. I didn't have the zip ties particularly, so that's what I'm using. Although they look just like zip ties. For all you hot glue warriors, that is not going to work here, people. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just not. You need something with more security to hold your metal in place, okay? Once you have your little circle made, you can take whatever means necessary and hang whatever you want. I'm going to give you two options. One is a little ornament, and the other one is a bell. I'm taking a piece of twine, and I'm going to loop it in here, and then we're going to attach it in the very spot that I put the zip tie. Put a little bit of floral or greenery or ribbon on there to hide it. And look how cute this is. I love this. This is like my second favorite of the video. You guys have to let me know in the comments below how fabulous you think this is. Now, here is the little ornament option as well if you don't have any bells. For our second one, you're going to need two of the rounds, and you're going to insert one. One's going to be slightly smaller, okay, just a smidge. And you're going to insert it into the larger one and zip tie that sucker on up. That's right. Okay, we got to attach these joints. Make sure you clip all your extra bits. You can spray paint this up if you want. Of course, you don't have to leave it. I love this silver look. It's very rustic for me. I'm a huge fan of all things rustic. But you should have this design, okay? And it's pretty sturdy, okay? Don't go stepping on it or nothing, then it's going to flatten like a pancake. I don't have any faith in it, you know, holding up to that. I'm making a messy bow here, and you can create whatever bow and put whatever, obviously, you want on here. But for me, I need to create a base when I'm doing little things like this. So I'm just taking a little piece of cardboard and then I'm gluing everything on there. I could not find my little stapler. I like to staple my messy bows right in the center. So I had to hot glue this joint onto our little base. Once I was happy with the way I layered the messy bow, I then glued that onto the top here, and you want to use something that is metal friendly, like some E6000 or Gorilla Glue gel. I put the hanger underneath the messy bow as well to conceal it, and that's it. For our next ornament, you're gonna need some ornaments. So I grabbed a pack of these and one of these styrofoam glittery ornaments that are shaped like a football, and we're gonna attach these together. Now that's easier said than done, obviously, because you cannot really hot glue styrofoam without losing some of your styrofoam. Like, it just gets eaten. I took the ends of this football looking piece apart and then added some tacky glue onto each side. And then I took one of these ornaments. So the bottom half, I shoved the top of the ornament into the styrofoam. And then on the top half, I put the bottom of the ornament, leaving the top part of the ornament up at the top. I hope that makes sense. And then I come back and take a little bit of hot glue on where the mirror pieces are. This way I'm avoiding melting the styrofoam. I held this into place. And once it dried, I thought this was a super, super cute, glittery, glam, high-end looking. I just love this ornament. I love the shape of it. I feel like there's a ton of possibilities with the piece. And I wanted to give you this first idea just to create a little rustic ornament. So I'm just shoving some of those sticks in there and taking some of this snow. It's like for a snow globe. I thought it would be a really good idea to just kind of pour some down in the hole, add some little rustic pieces, cute little tag, and no, not me. And if it wasn't bad enough that it made a mess everywhere I sat it, it just kept pouring out more and more. So I tried to do a little makeshift funnel, you know, wrapping up some paper, pour it down, and it's still just, I was having a time with it. I'm like, this is how it works. I'm almost done with the video. I'm almost done with the project. I got it together. Okay. We got it set up. It stopped pouring out everywhere. I added some more of these little pieces, and then I took these two random ornaments from different packs and put them together to wrap around the top of this ornament. I had some solo wood flowers. Little pine cones would look really cute, or acorns would look really cute in here as well. And I really, for all tassel, okay, I really love the piece. Now we're decoupaging this sucker, okay? And I went into extreme detail on this because it's so stunning, the final result with this napkin. I just wanted to make sure you guys could recreate this on your own. First, I would find the center of your ornament and find the center of the part of the napkin that you want to be shown the most on this piece. Once you have it, and be careful, because once this is on here, you cannot take it back. Is the second you try to peel it off, you are screwed. The napkin's gonna rip. Gently tappity tap tap the napkin in the section that you have your Mod Podge, then peel the napkin to the side, and less is always more. You're gonna see here, I'm gonna show you where I got a little excited and put or left too much Mod Podge and didn't spread it, and the napkin started ripping. Or decoupage, you guys know what I'm saying. Now I repeated this process for the entire front of this bulb. I'm gonna call it bulb ornament. Is that okay? This ornament actually took me a full hour to make. I sped this section up as I usually do, but I was very, very slow going through this to make sure that I minimized the wrinkles as much as possible, because we're curving the napkin with the ornament and it is not forgiving. So I knew that if I messed up at all, that I was not going to get a second chance to go back and fix this. You also want to be very mindful of where you're putting your fingers that are still on the napkin, because if the decoupage or the Mod Podge is wet, when you pull your thumb up, you're going to peel the napkin up, because this happened to me as I was doing this. I was about to cry 3 tears as I was trying to hurry up and just kind of move it. And then I figured I will just paint the little section when I go over it. Once you have as much of your napkin as you want attached on here, let this completely dry before you decide to start trimming the napkin. If you want to go all the way around or just take the same exact design and do the opposite side, you can as well. I did not want to do that. I wanted to paint the back of mine. But you can absolutely bring this napkin around as far as you want when you're covering this ornament. I just basically decided to go halfway, and then I came in with a paintbrush that just had some water around the edge of the napkin that did not have the decoupage on it. This allowed me to just easily break off the excess napkin. You can rip it if you want, but I did not want to rip it, because sometimes when you rip your napkins, it kind of takes extra napkin away. And I wanted to make sure that I was breaking it past the Mod Podge, because I was applying more Mod Podge around the edges so I can blend my paint into the napkin. And before I get comments asking where my accent is from, I'm from Baltimore, and we say water, we don't say water. We say zinc, we don't say sink. So before I get comments asking where I'm from, because that's always a funny thing to see in the comments, like, where are you from? You say water. Baltimore. I'm originally from Baltimore. Okay, back to our project. Now that I have all the excess taken off with the water, I'm taking the decoupage and just putting that extra layer around the edges here to make sure the napkin is completely sealed down onto our ornament. I let that dry completely before I came back in with my acrylic paint and my chalk paint. You want to make sure that you're using chalk paint to do this, not just acrylic paint. I didn't have a chalk paint to match, but I did have an acrylic paint to match, so I mixed the two together until I was happy with the color. You can do the same thing. And then once I got around to the edges of where the napkin was, I started blending in the napkin to the color of the back of the ornament. So once we add our little fairy lights in here, everything's going to glow and look like one unified piece. Ornaments next, and these are really rough too. We're gonna paint these. I'm gonna give these a nice layer of white paint. A little dippy dip, and let's just get some paint on here. I love the paint. First of all, this is one coat, okay? One coat. For the little rounds, we are going all in on these tiny little angels right here. And I'm just going to make sure we get our design out. Since we have 3 of these, I also took out this little background. I thought it would look nice with these as well. People use whatever medium you want, but please keep in mind, Mod Podge works just fine. I've totally been using Mod Podge or DecoArt's Decoupage. I love that stuff too. I've been using that for a while as well. Beautiful pieces. We're going to need to find the holes. Get your minds out of the gutter, okay? I know where your heads were at with that one. We're going to poke a little so this way we can see where we're going to put our ornament pieces. And if you thought I was going to put anything else on here but antique wax, you don't know me very well. Just kidding. So I love rustic things, and you can obviously use whatever you want to rustic these up. But if you take just a smidge on your finger, it goes such a long way. And you just be gentle. My fingers are already dirty enough, so for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, listen, just pile it on there. We're crafting. Next up, our snowman. For the 3 snowmen, we're going to take this design and we're going to put different sections of it on the snowman. And it's going to be a very delicate process, my friends, because we want to make sure that we leave enough of the design on there to make it look like a set. And we don't want to have these sharp edges, so this way it doesn't blend in. This is going to take some finagling, but we are going to get this on here. So first thing I'm going to start with this one, put us. Completely done getting all your crusty bits off of your decoupage ornaments. Then how you want to finish them up, there are so many ways you guys can decorate these and elevate them and do different things. First of all, we're going to start with the snowman, and these designs turn out beautiful. So you can see here, there is a little bit of disconnect between the white of the snowman, it's right here, and the paint that we put on the snowman. So what you're going to want to do to really blend this together so it just looks like one thing, and again, you can leave this alone if you want to. I'm just giving you tips here for ways you can just add little extra bits into your ornaments. Take some of the same exact white paint that you had on the backgrounds and go over the edges where you can see a difference. Just a tiny bit, make sure it's really dry. And it's just going to hide that little bit of difference. It's going to blend in your decoupage section with your painted section. And you can also take some of the paint and put it on the decoupage paper. So this way it really just looks like one piece. And if you don't want to, if you don't want to do this, don't, leave it alone. These are actually really cute on their own, but I'm going to do that to each one of these. Just plop a little bit where the ends are that I can see them personally, and then put a couple extra little dots in where the white is on here. So it just looks a little bit more cohesive. You can do this next part one of several ways, or you can just leave it alone. Again, completely up to you. I'm going to, I think this looks cheap, so I'm going to take, and you can do a permanent magic marker if you want. That would be easy as well. A little bit of black chalk paint, and we're just going to go around the ends of each one of these ornaments before we put our hangers on here. Use these stars. I'm going to use this napkin. And I know, in case you're like, Brandy, I was expecting something else. Well, listen, I got a cool idea where we're just going to have this design popped out. You're going to want to make sure whenever you're doing a napkin decoupage, you get them sneaky layers off. There are several ways you can do this. One is to take a little bit of your medium and just put it on your finger. That's too much. Just a little bit. Like this. And you can just go like this with the edges. See how it just pulls right out. That gets you some extra sneaky layers off of here. There's usually two, don't need extra Mod Podge. Or liquid patina, my bad. Then the second one is to take 2 pieces of tape, or painter's tape, whatever you want. You can put one on each side and then just pull your corners off. For me, I like to just see how it's, tore this. And most of the time you can see the layers and it just allows you to pop out. Now, if you're going to use the whole napkin, you obviously cannot tear it because then it'll ruin your design. But for me, I'm not sweating it. I'm just using the corner because I know I'm not using the whole piece. And now we are going to just plop these on here. Actually got 2 different ideas for these, is to make a puzzle piece and a tag set. So this way we'll have 2 pieces dangling on one ornament. I want to use her. I love her. She's one of my favorite pieces, actually. I want to use her. Not sure how I want to use her, but I want to use her on here. And since we have little music ornaments on the puzzle piece, we're just gonna take some of the extra little music ornament pieces and put right on here. So this way it's like a little set. Here's our last one. It's the camper. I love the little camper. You ever been into the little wedding section at Dollar Tree? They have these little buckets. And ever since I have started DIYing, if I ever did an ornament video, I said to myself, we're gonna make bucket ornaments. And I'm starting this first one by taking off our little hanger and straightening it out. And then we are shoving some beads on that joint. And size matters in this case, ladies, okay? You need to make sure that the beads are small enough that they will bend around your little hanger, okay? If they are not, they're not going to fit on here properly. I filled this little hanger up with beads. You could just put a few on there. And then I bent the end back so I could put it right back in place. Keeping this super simple and adding some of these little wood pieces. And this is a toothpick holder, this little Merry Christmas thing. I picked this up from Christmas tree shops and I just had it laying around. Thought it would be super cute in my little bucket. And then attach this little reindeer piece right onto the front. And I just love how simple and amazing this looks. For our next bucket ornament, I'm taking some of this paper from Hobby Lobby and I am ripping it down to size to fit our bucket. Now you can see I got the Deco Art Decoupage right there. I was going to decoupage this paper on here. The paper is a little thick, but I decided against it. I didn't know how long it's going to take me to get it just perfect the way I would really want it. So I decided to just hot glue this one here. I do recommend decoupaging it on here, but for the sake of the video and the idea and the time that I had to create all these ornaments, and I really wanted to take my time on the very last one in the video, so we hot glued this sucker on here. I added some more of these glittery, I don't know what the name of those are, okay? I just have it sitting loose in a sticker thing and I love them. They just look amazing. I also stuffed this with some of Hobby Lobby's little, these are just ornaments, but I thought they looked like snowballs, you know? And I made this a little snowball bucket. It doesn't matter what Dollar Tree I go into, they always have a ton of this stuff hanging on the wall. So I grabbed some red stuff and then, yeah, I grabbed some of these clear ornaments. I had to give you guys some ideas for these too. Okay, I brought both of them home and then immediately it was like, let's shove this red stuff in this ornament, right? No, it is not easy to get in that little hole. I immediately regretted that decision. So I started taking a paintbrush and trying to use the back end to shove in here. I was about to quit here. I was like, this is the option. This is the DIY. Just have this shit sticking out the top of the ornament. You know, it looks great. No, after some trial and error, I got it, okay? And it actually looks fine like this, but I decided to just give a little upgrade and take some of Dollar Tree's little glittery bit sticker pieces and add to the top here. Super simple and looks really high end, although I don't know if it was worth the struggle. So Dollar Tree also has these star stickers, and I thought it would look really nice to just attach these on the front and have that ribbon in there. I really like how this one turned out as well, having that ribbon as a background for the little stickers. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this one. Yeah, I'm milking this DIY for all it's worth after I got that ribbon in there. Okay, now, before you go to paint something like this, calm down, because I was a little excited when I did it, okay? And I was like painting everywhere. So my big tree that I painted, the trunk is a little bit thicker than I would have cared for. I did switch paintbrushes and get a thinner one. And you want to use chalk paint for this. Acrylic paint is going to be a pain in the bootay. If you like a particular acrylic paint, mix it with some chalk paint, you'll be fine. Okay, it just sticks onto the plastic better. And if you're doing this on a glass one, it will stick to that better as well. I made these trees as simple as I possibly could make it. For the big one in the center, I am just tilting the little branches to the side, and then the two off to the side, I am just going straight across and making each line just bigger than the last. That is it. I'm just keeping it super, super simple, and then making little dots for snow. You don't have to put any snow in yours, and feel free to design whatever type of tree you want on this. Super simple. This took me just a few minutes. I just wish that trunk was a little bit thinner on the center one. If you enjoyed these Christmas ornaments and are looking for more Christmas in July inspiration, check out my Christmas in July mega video from last year right here. As always, people, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today, and until next time.